Well, the market's dumped on us today. I want to talk about that, and I also want to give some educational perspective because I think it can seriously impact our financial situations. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and what in the world is floating in my drink? 1, 8, 27, 64? Oh, they're ice cubes. So the first thing, what happened in the markets this week? What do I expect to happen tomorrow leading up to Jerome Powell's speech? I think it's highly important that we take a look at the charts to see what to expect for what comes next. Also in this video, I'll be using the Moomoo app, and I will tell you later how you can get up to 16 free stocks using my link down in the description. And also, if you like my commentary, you'd like to hear more of it, you want more value and service, check out that link for the Patreon that's down in the description as well. So I said in a couple of my past videos, starting on Friday leading up to today, that the Jerome Powell speech, 10:05 a.m., that is going to be a deciding moment in the markets. So looking at the chart in the Moomoo app, let me bring that up there for you. Right now, we're looking at the Qs, and let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the path we were on, and now zooming into this, I said possibly a head and shoulders pattern forming up for us, and you can see we peekabooed up above the 50-day. Thank you, NVIDIA. And then I said over my Discord today that we could possibly close at no man's land, and we did. I think tomorrow, leading up to Jerome Powell's speech, that we fill out to the neckline that head and shoulders pattern, but we don't get confirmation if we get it at all until he speaks. It is possible that we bounce off that neckline. Now, where is that neckline? That neckline for the Qs that we're looking at, QQQ, which tracks the NASDAQ 100, 357 down to about 354. I think that speech is important enough that we actually continue to sell off a little bit more up until around that 10:05 time frame. And then based on what he says, we either bounce off that neckline and we cancel that head and shoulders pattern for right now, or if he says something the market really doesn't like, that we break down through that neckline, and then we could possibly give up several percent over the next few days as a result of that happening and see more pain in the markets. If we do break back to the upside, we got to get back over these previous peaks. I will say that selling off a little bit more, even though it's painful during that time, these opportunities that we got from this most recent sell-off, we were celebrating. The options that were printing earlier this week were incredible. That the NVIDIA options that printed because of the homework that we did and the way the market was moving from that, like that also was incredible. But that wouldn't have been nearly as fun. That wouldn't have been as possible if it wasn't for the sell-off that led up to it. So when we go over to the SPY, which tracks the S&P 500, we have pretty much the same thing. I said the same thing here, that I worried about head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, right shoulder, head in between. Neckline here is like 430 up to 433. So anywhere in there, that Jerome Powell speech could bring us down to that. If I had to choose a bias, it would be to the downside, that we start off the market red tomorrow, and then based on what he has to say, we either turn a very Granny Smith apple green, or we turn a nice rosy blood red and fall down through that neckline. And like I said, I think his speech brings us to that point, up to his speech. But then once his speech happens, it's anybody's call whether we bounce or whether we drop through. And that is one of the biggest debates in the market right now, is what is he going to say? What can we expect coming up for the rate hikes, recession, reacceleration, you name it. And I mean, that's just, it's a big puzzle. And I'm not going to pretend that I have the answer to that one. I will say that this week has gone pretty much as I expected it to. A bounce early on, a sell-off later, and like I said, that speech is that point in time. It's just an opaque wall. Can't really tell what's coming for us yet, but we'll know better once he speaks, and that in itself can be a little bit of relief for us. So in this channel, it's all about value and those 16 free stocks using my link down in the description. You saw the Moomoo desktop app on my channel. They also have a smartphone app as well that goes along with it, Android, iOS. You click that link, sign up, deposit $100 or more, you get your free stocks. 5 free stocks for $100, $1,000 or $5,000 gets you 15 free stocks. There's a $50 cash reward at every tier and a free share of Tesla or Google included with the $5,000 tier. They have just updated their options strategies that are available on the platform, so that also brings extra value to the Moomoo app as well. So go ahead and take advantage of it. And the last thing for this is the Patreon. Down in the description is where you'll find a link for the Patreon as well. Now over there is really where the value and service gets amped up. Not only do I put my exclusive content over there and my exclusive videos, I have an options series where I'm working from the ground up to talk about options and give perspectives on those and how you can benefit from them in the market and really profit in your portfolios. But I also have my NVIDIA stock price prediction and my NVIDIA earnings forecast. Same thing for Tesla stock price prediction and forecast. My CPI projections, I also put those up over there. I update a watch list of stocks throughout the trading week where I find opportunities and also put those out. But I also have probably the most important thing is the Discord community that I have through the Patreon as well. And that actually brings me to my second point, which is the educational perspective that can impact your financial situation. And that, my friends, is how we learn. So I've been an educational professional for the past 16 years, and I can tell you when it comes to instruction, whenever you're being told about something, no matter how good that teaching or instruction is, it's like a wash basket. It does not hold water no matter how much you try to fill it, unless you take the time to fill in the gaps and make it watertight. And the way that we do that when it comes to learning is to bring in a feedback process. It has to be in there somewhere, and when you have somebody knowledgeable in that capacity, they can help accelerate that learning process. And like I said, when it comes to our finances, we want to be as quick on that as possible, that we don't want to wait and miss all sorts of opportunities. Now, mind you, any pace of learning is better than not learning at all. But if we can accelerate that learning, that's even better. And I can tell you through that time, the students who have taken the time to talk with me, to work at it, to say, this is what I heard from you during your lesson, this is what I did, this is how I understand it. I can give feedback to that, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether it's close, whether it's far away, whatever it is. Having somebody to bounce those ideas off of, to have that feedback process in order to find out if you're on the right track, that you're actually going down the right path, that you're learning the thing that you should be learning, that is true value right there. And not only do we do that in the Discord community, where I have that reciprocal process between me and the community members, but also the things that they're asking me about, not only am I improving my own knowledge, bringing it back to them pretty much in real time, but I'm also able then to put out more products and services back onto the Patreon, bring out more videos. That's actually where the options series came from, was an appetite for understanding what in the world was going on with options in the first place, but then also like calming down fears of, hey, what is going on in the markets? Also, what is coming up? What is going on with this stock or company or sector? Like, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm not saying that I'm right all the time or that I'm a master of all those things, but I do take the time to go and look and learn about it myself and bring it back the best as I understand it. And that's something that we work together to shape our perspectives. And that's the power of a community, and a learning community, in this case, a financial community. So if you really want to develop your perspective for finance that's going to benefit you in a profitable way like that, join a financial community. Hopefully it's mine. If it's another one, I really just care. The whole reason that I got my doctorate was to have the broadest impact on the most people possible. And YouTube allows me to come out and reach thousands of people that I never had access to before. Before it was just a couple hundred kids, over a couple of years' time, and then a couple thousand over time after that. But I can actually reach thousands of people a day with the things that I have to say here. And then their questions, not only do they illuminate things that I didn't know, but it also gives me an opportunity to answer them with the things that I do happen to know and provide that. And that value right there is the reason that keeps me coming back and working so hard for all of them, and also keeps me coming back here and also working so hard for all of you here on YouTube as well. So that perspective, that educational perspective, if you really want to amp your financial game, you have to lean into it. You can't just flatten things. You have to round out the information for it. It's not as simple or black and white. You want to know the nuances, the details of what's coming up. And if you resist that, you're only holding yourself back financially. And that is not why we're here, to hold ourselves back financially. We're here to push ourselves forward financially in the quickest way possible, the easiest way possible. And that doesn't mean easy. That just means that we cut out a lot of the frustration that we would otherwise have without any sort of guidance. So that's what I have for you in this video. If you want that easy value from Moomoo, from those free stocks, get that link down in the description. People are signing up, getting their free stocks. Thank you for the support, and thank you for supporting yourselves. Always wonderful to see that progress. If you want to join my Patreon, that link is also down in the description. And just to summarize about the Jackson Hole Summit thing, we find out, should we form a head and shoulders pattern and confirm it? We'll find out tomorrow by dropping down through the neckline. We'll also find out if we hit it, that head and shoulders pattern, and then refute it by bouncing off the neckline instead, that we actually like what Jerome Powell has to say, that he sounds more dovish for us. So thank you guys for watching this video. Get your free stocks. Check out the link for Patreon. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you in the next video.